meat for food. So if you were to take and start doing a series of these, and you were to say, I put this together for a chicken, and then you start looking at other elements and you go something like carragana. And so what does carragana need? Well, what does carragana need?
Soil, water.
Soil, water, that's right.
Sun.
Sun. Needs probably a fair bit of space because they will grow. If you go down to Meewasin, you know, down by the river, you can find carragana there that I could not believe how big they were. They were this big around. It was amazing. So they will need some space. What does carragana produce? Everyone knows what a carragana is? Yes? Carragana? Carragana is a type of a hedge that gets used a lot, especially on farms. It was used a lot as windbreaks then because it grows fairly thickly. It will grow up 10 feet tall. It works really well as windbreaks because of the fact that it grows fairly thickly and it's sturdy. I think it came from Russia, I think.
Pretty much Siberia.
Yeah. So it's cold hardy, so it was really good for around here in terms of some of the things that it does. So what does it produce for us? Well, it will produce shelter in a way because it will work as a windbreak. Carraganas are a legume, so they actually produce little pea pod-like things that are about that long, and they have little seeds inside them, and they are edible. I've never actually eaten one. They're also great. Little trick. When you see carragana and they're still green, you can pick the pod off and you can split it open very carefully, take the peas out and split. If you split one side and then just split a little bit on one end, put it in your mouth and blow on it just the right way, it makes a great duck call. Just for your information. So next time you see a carragana, this summer when you see carragana bushes, I'll be out there trying to make your little duck call whistles. So it also produces wood, right? Even if we're not using it right away, that's an energy store. I don't know where carragana is in the terms of being hard or soft wood.
It burns really hot.
Okay, so it would be a harder wood then. But it also produces food. Not necessarily food we would eat, but it might be food that our little chicken friend likes. And I've been told it is, that chickens actually really do like eating carragana. So when you start doing this, and with these elements, and especially when you're new to it, because you're not always, it's not always going to be like this until you do this for a while. And you start producing these things, these charts like that, and you can start matching things up and go, oh, okay, so, well, if we put carragana here, because we can use it as a windbreak, then we can also, we're going to have chickens, so we can bring the chickens in and we can bash the carragana trees and get the pods off toward the end of the summer, and the chickens can eat the carragana and things like that. So when we start doing the needs and products, you can start piecing things together and figure out how you're going to assemble all of the elements of the system as you put it together, designed for it. Is there, computer science wouldn't be the right realm for this, but people in some of the other sciences, biology, anyone in like logic or any of that, does logic actually exist as a discipline anymore? No?
They said though.
Well, I know they did when I took it because all the CS people took logic because it was just so dead easy after doing so many years of programming. You didn't even have to go to class to pass it. So this is
a philosophy course. Like a philosophy course on logic and critical thinking.
I went to the U of R years ago, and back then they were two separate things still. There was logic and philosophy as two separate areas of study. Anyhow, this is actually along the lines of in one of the logic classes I took, they got into scientific reasoning. So this is very similar to the scientific hypothesis in that look at the behavior, speculate what it means, come up with an action, test it. Does it work? Yes, great. Does it not? Okay, well, let's go back and look at the behavior. Was there something we missed? Something we need to change? We'll do some tweaking, see if we can make it fit. And I've got, I'll show you some pictures here, just because I think everyone's starting to fall asleep on me, so I think I've got some here. So there was, I guess these, yeah, okay, here. So this was one of the things, Jesse Lemieux was the instructor we had for the permaculture design certificate that we ran last summer. It was the first one actually in Saskatchewan that was run, and we're planning another one coming up this summer. So if I don't bore you too much and you find this interesting, you can go to the PermaSas site and check out the details of that. So what Jesse was faced with in this one situation was trying to figure out how they were going to deal with drainage from an area that had a fairly steep contour, because they had the particular site they were dealing with had a road that was built way off contour and went straight down the hill. I remember this. It went straight down the hill, and it was a gravel road, and this was in Australia where you get lots of significant rain events. It goes dry and rain and dry and rain and dry and rain, kind of like it's been here in the last few years. And so what he was dealing with was trying to figure out how, because the water's coming so fast with all this rain down this steep hill, and it's carrying so much of the road basically with it, that he was building swales for water capture that were going to end up just full of dirt.